Active listening is a critical part to building good relationships at work. This is true if you're a manager, a leader, or an employee, and it also helps you in your personal life as well. But how do you become a better listener? How do you learn active listening? Well, there's more to listening than just hearing what the other person is saying to you. You need to be active in the listening experience. Active listening requires you to be just that in the conversation. Active, which means you need to show you're listening. You need to show the other person that you're listening to what they're saying to you. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can do that. At the end of this video, I will be sharing with you 6 phrases that you can use which are very helpful in active listening, very helpful to show the other person that you are listening to them. But before we get into that, if you like what you're going to learn in this video and you want these kinds of videos in your feed every week, then make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell too. Every week I share videos on leadership to help you on your leadership journey, and I would be honored to have you a part of this community. The first step to active listening is to stop talking. You need to allow and give the other person the space and the time to talk. Now, I understand that sometimes this is difficult. If you are really excited about something or you have some great news to tell someone, you might want to be the one who does the talking because you have this fantastic news to share. So I understand that sometimes it's hard for you to not talk and to let the other person do the talking. But it really is the first step to active listening. I mean, how is the other person supposed to talk to you if you are the one who is doing all the talking? If you're taking up all the talking space, how are they supposed to have any chance to talk to you? So you really need to give the other person the space to talk. Now, the reason this is so important in business relationships and why it helps to build strong business relationships is when you give someone the space to talk, it helps them to feel important and appreciated. This is something that all of us want to feel. We all want to feel important. We all want to feel appreciated. And if you do this to your conversation partner, to your coworker in the office, they will love you. They will walk away from that interaction feeling like you really listened to them, like you made them feel important, you made them feel appreciated as well. Whereas if you interrupt them when they start talking to you and you interrupt them, you cut them off, the only thing they're going to feel for you is resentment. They're going to feel like you aren't interested in what they have to say, like you don't care, that they aren't important to you. And this isn't going to help create a positive relationship with that person. So if that's your priority, if creating a positive working relationship with someone is your priority, then you need to make sure that you stop talking and you let them talk. Number 2, genuinely focus on that person. This is an incredibly important part of listening and active listening as well. I mean, how many times have you been in a conversation with someone and you found your mind starting to wander? You were thinking of things you need to do, of emails you need to respond to, of deadlines you need to meet, of all these other things in your life that are going on at that time, but you weren't focusing on that one person who was talking to you. Have you ever felt like this? Have you ever been in a situation where this has happened? I would probably say yes. The reason this is bad for listening and does not show active listening is because your focus is not on that person. Your focus is on all of the other things that are going on in your life at that time. So you need to eliminate this mind chatter, eliminate negative self-talk, if that's what it is, eliminate all of the things that are going through your mind and eliminate that so you can focus and give yourself the headspace to focus on that person. If this is something you have difficulty with in your conversations, then a tip I have for you is to try to identify that person's eye color. Look at them in the eye, have good eye contact with them as they are talking. Try to identify their eye color. This will definitely make you look focused and make you look like you're really listening to them. If you want tips on how to have good eye contact, because this is something I have covered in my video about leader body language, I will link to that on the screen and you can jump to that once you finish watching this video. Number 3 is to listen to understand. So once you have given the other person the space to talk, once you have focused on that person, the next thing you need to do is to listen to understand. And there is absolutely a difference between listening to hear and listening to understand. And this is a mistake that a lot of people do make when it comes to listening. They simply listen to hear or to appear that they're hearing, but they don't listen to understand. And this is a conscious effort and a conscious shift that you really need to make. You'll often see this when you are in a conversation with somebody and their eyes start to glaze over. They're with you and they might be looking at you, but you know they're not 100% focused on what you're saying. They're not 100% with you in the conversation. This is the difference between listening to hear and listening to understand. And when you're on the receiving end of this, it definitely doesn't make you feel like you're important, like you're appreciated, like the other person cares about what you're telling them. And it definitely doesn't help you have active listening. This is an important shift that you need to make in your communication. Just like getting rid of your mind chatter, you need to be able to really listen to understand what that person is saying. You need to be present in that conversation. You need to be with that person. Now, if being present is something that you want to learn more about, I do talk about it in one of my other videos, which I'll link to on the screen above for you. Basically, you need to tell yourself, I am with this person. I care about what they're saying. It's important what they're saying. I really want to understand what they are telling me. This is the type of mindset shift that you need to make in order to have good listening and use active listening in your conversations. So let's move on to these 6 phrases that I talked to you about at the beginning of this video. So I'm going to share these 6 phrases with you right now. After each one of these phrases, I'm going to share an example with you so you can see how the phrase is used in a general conversation. These phrases will not only help you show that you're listening, they will actually help you listen better, because a part of many of these phrases is that you need to repeat what the other person has just said to you. And the simple act of repeating what they said to you helps you understand what they say and also shows that you are understanding and truly listening to them. So let's jump into these phrases now. Number 1 is, so what you're saying is, and an example of this in a full sentence would be, so what you're saying is that Jennifer gave you the information on Friday and expects you to have the report completed by tonight. Phrase 2 is, it seems like you're feeling, experiencing, or saying. For example, it seems that you're feeling a bit overwhelmed by the workload and tight deadlines. The third phrase is, what I hear is that, for example, what I hear is that you can't complete the report by tonight because of your other deadlines. So I've shared 3 phrases so far. We have 3 more to go, which I'll get to in a moment. But can you see so far how by repeating what the other person says can help you understand, can help you appear like you're really listening to them? So this repetition of repeating what the other person has said is a really important part of active listening. If you like what you've learned so far in this video and you want more videos like this to help you on your leadership journey, then make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell too. Let's move on to phrase number 4, which is, let me understand what you're saying. You say that, for example, let me understand what you're saying. You say that Jennifer has given you these tight deadlines before and you're afraid if you don't do it, you'll be fired. Phrase number 5, I want to make sure I clearly understand what you're saying. You say that, for example, I want to make sure I clearly understand what you're saying. You say that other people in the office have had this experience with Jennifer too. And phrase number 6, it must be, it must feel. For example, it must be stressful to work under someone who puts unreasonable deadlines on you. So do you see how these phrases can be really helpful in helping you repeat what that person has said and helping you really understand and show that you're listening to what they've been telling you? If somebody were to use these kinds of phrases on you the next time you were in conversation with someone, how would it make you feel? Would it make you feel heard? Would it help you feel they listened to you? Would it help you feel they really tried to understand what you were telling them? Think of how these phrases would make you feel in a conversation, and it's very likely it will make somebody else feel that exact same way too. I challenge you in the next 1 to 2 days to use at least one of these phrases in a conversation with someone, whether it's in your personal life or your business life, it doesn't matter. But I challenge you to use at least one of these phrases and see how this impacts the overall interaction with that person. And let me know in the comments the results of using one of these phrases. So listening skills are a huge part of your social skills or people skills. And if this is something you want to work on, then you will definitely enjoy this video right here.